Hey everybody, welcome to another Tuesday night chat. I know it's there's not a whole lot of people out there right yet, but we'll see what happens here in a minute. Maybe once we get started, we will start getting the audience. There's a few people out there. It says I'm live. Okay, I don't see it on the external started yet. I got a lag. Oh, there it is. I got a lag. All right. But anyway, I do have Daniel here. It's just me and him for right now. Maybe somebody else will jump in, and we can have a full conversation. But until then, I'm going to let Daniel do an intro, and you go right ahead, Daniel.
Okay, am I muted right now?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, Daniel here, and my barking dogs are outside. Thanks for the invite there, TR. And there's barking dogs inside too. It's getting crazy around here. They just wait for the chat.
Yeah, I can see that. I can understand that. As far as topics, if anybody's got anything they want us to talk about, throw it out there in the external. With just me and Daniel, if it gets to be a bunch of people out there, sometimes I might miss something. So I apologize up front. One of the things I've been working the last couple of days. I just got home from work. The deal with, I don't know if you've seen this, Daniel. I've seen several states are threatening to not allow Trump's name to be on the ballot for the 2020 election if he does not release his tax returns. I'm not sure they can legally do that. I hadn't looked into it. I think it's BS. Talk about a whining brat that throwing a temper tantrum because they can't get their way, and they didn't get their way. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know.
Isn't that whole Pelosi throw the crap against the wall, see what sticks campaign? The smear, and it's got to be all blue states anyways that don't split their electoral college. I mean, I haven't read anything about it. I'm just hearing about it, but it doesn't surprise me. We're going to hear nothing but whiny, complaining all the way up through the election. And, I'm glad I live in the country and not out near any city because it's going to get real interesting, I think, in the next few months.
Yeah, I think so too. I guess we've been looking at it for the last few years and gotten a little numb to it. But I try my best to keep up with what's going on CNN and NBC, and watch the little video clips that shared on Facebook, or if I see on YouTube or wherever else. I actually read articles in the newspaper or local newspaper, the Greenville News, which probably about all of them are now, has been took over, bought out by USA Today. So it's just as liberal as anything out there. There's a few things about local stories, but most of it's kind of mainstream bullshit. But I kind of look at it. I know a lot of people don't read the newspaper anymore. They get it at work, so it's there. But it's interesting to see the point of view. But what really surprised me, what I always turn to, is the editorial section where people write in. They'll usually have one or two, maybe three short letters that were emailed into the newspaper. And I'm really surprised how many, well, I shouldn't say surprised, how many liberal-minded people are in the area. But at the same time, Greenville County has become the most populated county in South Carolina. And with that, you get a lot of influx of people from other states. That mindset, yeah, so it's a little disappointing, to be honest. I wish we wouldn't grow for that reason. But it's just crazy how far left they have went.
Well, I mean, it really doesn't take that many people who are on that far to the left to get control because, well, they've already got control of your newspapers, your news channels. I mean, I remember when Media One bought the local radio station here, bought the local newspaper, and all that there, that's backed by tinfoil hat time, you know, new world order, big money. Your Soroses, I mean, all your Bloombergs and all that where it's just, I mean, all your news is just going to have the propaganda that our fine Senate decided, and our government decided to rescind it being outlawed to use propaganda on the United States citizens. So, I mean, since then, it's just daily. That's why I quit watching TV. That's why I quit getting the newspaper. My day, I went out there, I mowed grass, I went downstairs, I'm building my new reloading bench, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of get the division, then I don't get it. Okay.
Yeah. But did you see a question there?
No, I was just I
Okay.
asked Inside if he wanted a link. He said he'd try.
All right.
He had trouble Sunday, so I'm gonna send him a link. I think I got his email.
I mean, we were talking about how it was before Obama took office, as far as how the race relations and everything else like that was. It was just a few years before, I mean, real normalcy. It was totally widespread as far as people getting along. I mean, we were on a good road there. I think when he got elected, that set us back 80 years. Maybe
Yeah,
not 80 years, but
mm, 50 years at least.
yeah, at least put us back into the 50s.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And yeah, I think Obama, you it was the exact opposite of what you would think would happen. We elected a black man as president, and race relations got worse than they have been in decades.
Yeah.
It made no sense. I mean, it was like he got in office and immediately tried to divide us.
Oh, it was just been nonstop since.
Yeah.
There's Scotty.
Hmm. We see you. I hear you. You don't hear us, though.
No, you don't hear us. Look at that intensity in his eyes. I'm sure when he gets everything straightened out. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Blues Girl says it's called Agenda 2030. It's much worse than you can even imagine. Yeah, yeah, she's got a lot. Very good point about that. Yeah, you're actually even neocon. A lot of rhinos, neocons. Definitely your big Democrats. They're all into that Agenda 20. Well, it was Agenda 21. They realized they wasn't going to get it by then, so they changed it to 2030 now. And that way to control the environment, the governments, the people to help keep centralizing power, That's what that whole damn thing's about.
Yeah. And and the way things have just been rolling, I mean, just one thing after another, people just start getting desensitized, and the kids growing up now thinking this is all normal, and they're going to be voting when they turn 18, and your demographics is going to totally be flipped. We're heading down a hard road because I'm thinking about two different things right now. One's the education system with all the liberal teachers in there educating the kids. And then the other thing that Trump has put out about hardening our grid, our power grid, just in case we get an EMP, whether it's a solar flare or, the big EMP bomb, whatever, for whatever. But it's vulnerable and he's wanting to pump a bunch of money into upgrading our system. But that's mirroring artificial intelligence. It's like with your computer. You know, you take your cell phone around, and you can always tell exactly where you're at and everything. And from just the things you're talking about in the house, all of a sudden you start getting advertisements on your cell phone, for that kind of stuff. Well, this artificial intelligence, the way it keeps going, how far off are we from turning over our lives, the whole power grid and everything to AI on a computer?
Yeah.
And with this whole thing of trying to make our power grid and everything EMP proof, whether it's a sun flare or an attack or whatever, that's, well, put it this way. Sometimes I just think, it, 90% of America and the world would die if something like that happened. But if it did, it would stop that AI, which could end up being a much worse thing. I just been thinking about it. So okay, I'm gonna take the tinfoil hat off now.
No, that's okay. I got one right there.
Yeah. Insight, can you hear us now?
A hard time. Okay, I'm gonna see if I got I've had Mario on before. Let me see if I still got his email.
Just tell Mario we're going to play Reloader Jeopardy. He says he can't hear us. Well, daggone it. There's this little button up on the top. It's a mute button. We got to let him know that it's up there because he probably's got to mute himself muted.
Yeah, but he should still hear us.
Well, I can push a button on here, my F1 button.
We'll see if you can hear me, but I can't hear either of you. I have to keep going back and forth to the chat.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Push your F1 button on the top of your keyboard. I'm going to put it on the chat.
Okay, Battle Bean, I sent you a link through Facebook Messenger. Oh, I see you put it.
There, I just gave him some directions.
Okay. I can do that too. Sorry, everybody. We're trying to get a panel together here. I don't like to send out 50 invitations. I send out a few, and if it works, it works. If it don't, because I don't like a full panel myself. So
maybe I can tell him press Control Alt Delete.
this is.
Oh, the F1's not working for him.
I got so many windows open and stuff. It's a wonder there's not a song playing in the background. All right, I'm done with that. All right, Mario, I sent you a link, Facebook Messenger and email. Where was we?
Well, we just took off the tinfoil hats.
Oh, okay. Well, damn it. I did see a thing, getting back to the politics or whatever. I know the Democrats are just having a damn crybaby fit because they didn't find collusion or Russian collusion or obstruction, and they're still pushing the obstruction thing. Only 2% of any congressmen have went and looked at the unredacted report, and no Democrat has. And they're still crying that, well, he covered up. There it is.
So they put it out there, said, here you go, unredacted, go ahead, read it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the whole thing. Throw a bunch of crap against the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
As long as you got the newspapers you backing you up, the American people believe it's true.
That's true. And I've talked about this before. What's up, Mario?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey,
Well, he can hear us.
what's going on?
I've talked to people at work, and now I've seen this, and I know they probably. I mean, it's the same thing with Facebook, Google search, newspaper. People read the headlines, and that's pretty much it. And the media has figured that out. You just make a really good headline, and you can start a story. You could write a whole story, and you could be negative and blah, 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 conjecture and all this, and at the end kind of tell the truth.
Yeah.
Nobody reads the article, or they at least don't read it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I mean, they just will hide something in the bottom where they say, well, we just said this is a theory.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability. Speaking of plausible deniability, Mario, you blow your guns up yet?
Excuse me?
Did you blow your guns up yet with reloads?
No, man. Damn, man. You got no faith in me. Jesus.
Any squibs?
No. You know what? I tried all my reloads on all my pistols, and they all work. I'm not like somebody I know that is saying that his gun is picky on reloads. I never heard of that.
Oh no,
But,
the guns can be. You get that.
I don't know, man. I'm not saying my stuff is all that good in that, but I just took my time with it, and I just I did what I had to do, and I also did the same thing. Uncle Jim told me. He told me to get the barrels from the guns that you're going to use, and then check to see the space or something like that. He said, when I tried them all, so it worked. Also I also think that it has to do with the primers, because I only been using CCIs, and for some reason with CCIs it works. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if maybe it's something else with they may be using something. I don't know, man. But you are right. There's sometimes some reloads that are kind of picky as to the type of.
I'm sorry. I thought there's like Winchester white box that sucks. Like ammo that have steel cases. A lot of guns can be finicky. Scott, are you live? Can you hear us?
I can hear everybody. I finally went into the Hangouts and all my preferences and turned everything on to on and on and on, and it's working. So we're on. Tennessee.
Well, I tell you what, Mario, I did a video and I didn't post it. I need to redo it. I wasn't happy with the way it turned out. But literally, when I started reloading in the 90s, I had a single stage press. I had a Lee dipper kit, the little yellow dippers that come with their dies. You can buy a kit, and it comes with a slide card. This card you slide out, and okay, you're using Winchester 231. You want X amount of grains. Use this dipper. I didn't have a scale. I didn't have a chrono. I had a dipper kit, no scale, single stage press, a set of dies. I did have a reloading tray and a little primer thing to orient them, but I still didn't have an automatic primer thing. I was priming one primer at a time, and I didn't blow myself up. And I did that for years.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with a single stage press. I just decided to go with a turret because to me that's what made more sense to me. But I'm not saying that everybody should go. I think everybody should go single stage. Because to be honest with you, when I start doing rifles, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do everything in a single stage because I know rifles are way more pickier than pistols. So that's when I'm gonna seriously go the old school prehistoric way, if you want to call it that, and just do it that way, because then that way I know for a fact everything works well and it's dialed in, and then it's good to go. Now going back to the dipper, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that I would always suggest to anybody if they want to go that route is just to be consistent with your powder measure. because, you know, I mean, seriously, when you scoop that thing up, you know, if you're not doing anything to, you know, kind of some sort of, you know, even it out and making sure you have the enough powder and all that stuff, you know, sometimes you can put more grains than you need to, and then that can happen where, you know, you were putting too much pressure on that bullet and on the round, and it's gonna mess up your weapon.
Yeah, with fairly low pressure pistol rounds, say 9mm, 45 ACP, 40 Smith and Wesson. My train of thought was look in the reloading manual. I did buy a reloading manual, and just shoot middle of the road.
Yeah,
and that way, if you're a little high, you're a little low, you're still within spec, even if you don't know.
Right.
And I, you know, and you can be, you know, it's not the best. And another thing, when I started back in the mid '90s, or earlier than that actually, but it was in the early '90s. Cheap, when I say cheap, inexpensive powder measures, like the Lee powder measures and stuff. There's a lot of that stuff. It really wasn't around. I mean, you had to buy a Lyman or a Redding. You know, the nice stuff was expensive, and I went cheap. I mean, I got into lead casting before YouTube. I was reading magazines. That's how I got my information how to load my
and it's
lead.
You know what? You're not the first one to tell me that. I know there's a couple guys that have been, you know, reloading as much as long as you have, and you know, I heard the same stuff from them. Even when it comes to like precision loads, I don't know if you ever watched this guy Eagle Eye Shooting.
Like that.
Well, he does a lot of long range shooting with, you know, like, you know, inexpensive rifles, and he goes out there and tests loads and all that kind of stuff. And because he lives in Arizona, he can shoot up to 1,000 yards, and you know, he's getting some pretty decent groups with very cheap and inexpensive rifles. And going back to what you said, I always, when I first started, I remember my first 100 loads. I think I did them all at the happy medium point, you know, and after I shot him, I started noticing that, you know what, maybe I do need to put a little more grain, but I didn't go that far. And what I have a tendency of doing is I double check my stuff. Like I would do like 20 rounds and then just double check my powder measure. You know, I mean, you have to be, man, because, you know, you and I, you're both in the military, man. You know how it is. We've seen guns blow up, you know, and we know that, you know, the military doesn't always get the greatest of ammo, and you're going to get some stuff that's probably not the greatest, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to happen. So yeah, I'm very cognizant of that, and making sure that, you know, whatever I do, I just take my time with it, because in reality, you know, it's my life I'm putting on the line. And for that same reason, that's why it took me, I was so hesitant about reloading, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a bit intimidated, you know. But you know what's really great about this whole thing is that I met so many great people in the reloading community, and all they've done has been more than supportive. And there's times I call guys at the, you know, different times of the hour, and they always are willing to answer my questions. So it can be an enjoyable. I think nowadays it's a lot more enjoyable to get into it because there's so much support, you know. So yeah, and I enjoy it. It's sometimes, you know, because my job is very stressful. So there's times where, you know, it really helps just to unwind and you know, do some reloads and just concentrate on that. And before you know it, man, you got like 200 rounds you reloaded, and you know, 2 or 3 hours done with your night, and you're ready to go to bed. So what do you use now, TR? What are some of the things that you use for reloading now?
Well, I still use a single stage depending on what it is. You know, use a single stage for a few things. But anyway, some high-powered rifle stuff like 8mm Mauser, I'd use single stage because you don't need 10,000 rounds or 1,000 rounds of freaking 8mm Mauser. But I got 2 Dillons. I got a square deal B and a 550.
Nice.
But I will say I helped a guy from work set up the turret press. And that for a starter kit, for that little extra money over their single stage, I have to say that's the way to go because that's a good compromise.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's a great compromise. You load a little faster. It's not full progressive. It's almost like a single stage, but you can go through a few stages. You got a round. Go through, instead of changing dies and go through, okay, let me resize 50 rounds, change the die, do this 50 times. The turret is I think it's a great press.
Yeah, I like it. And that's the kind of the reason why I liked it as well, because I mean, I can obviously I can do pistol, but I can do rifle, and it's versatile. And at the same time, you're only concentrating on one round at a time. Where the progressive, I mean, to be honest with you, that one kind of scares me because it's like you got one round, here's another one coming through, and there's another one. The other one is, putting powder measuring, and it's crazy, man. Those things they're amazing machines. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I could ever start reloading with a progressive like a Dillon. Not like Zen Master did.
Are you using the classic turret? Is that the one you're using? Basically where you're turning the turret. It doesn't have a shell plate that rotates.
So I just wanted to get you guys' take on this whole thing that we got going on right now with the 2A rallies. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, there's a lot. We're starting to get a bigger group of more aggressive anti-gun people that are starting to get into a lot of our guys that are pro-gun and kind of like seems to me like they're just trying to start a fight with them. It just seems to me like he's not working because we're more mature in that aspect. But I just wanted to get your take on what do you think is going to end up happening. I just don't want it to get to the point where if you guys remember that event where this guy brought in a car and he ran into over people. I think that was in I don't know exactly where that was at, but they killed like 2-3 people. This guy, where was that at? In Virginia?
Yes. I don't remember it. North of me is all I know.
Yeah.
And it was a little sketchy, even if he was actual conservative side. There was a little bit shady about how that all went down. But I don't want to discourage anybody from going to the Pro 2A rallies or anything like that. But I'm hesitant to go to some things like that. And it's just me. Don't get me wrong. I'm just being honest. I've met some people on our side that was a little bit too radical for me. And I'm not sure I want to stand beside them.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I can totally
do you understand where I'm coming from? And it may be a small percentage, but I don't want to be at the 2A rally and the son of a bitch pulls out a gun and starts shooting people or starts just fist fighting. Or, it's like, unfortunately, and it's probably with both sides, and I've said this before. All right, you got your center, and then you got your extreme right, your extreme left. Anybody on the extreme right or extreme left is trouble. We all need to be a little closer to the middle. We can disagree all day long and never see each other's side. But if you get too far out, nothing good can come from that, for those two people meeting together.
Yeah.
Insight.
Yeah.
Say something. Okay, while Insight talks, Mario, see if you can hear him.
Mario, do you hear me?
Hey, can you hear me, Insight?
I hear you fine. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I've been having issues with my audio. Let me refresh and I'll come right back, guys.
Okay. I was going to say that the natural outcome of 2A rallies growing is that opposition will grow probably more unnaturally than naturally. I really believe the powers behind anti-2A movement will ship in, buy, pay for people that will be there to agitate and stir up things the bigger those rallies get.
Scotty, can you hear me?
I think we'll see a lot of that, a whole lot of that, unfortunately.
Inside, can you hear me, bud?
You know, whoever it is, Bloomberg is definitely working hard behind the scenes. Soros is never going to stop any effort he can to cause civil discourse. So.
Yeah, and the bad thing is they always point to the right.
Oh yeah.
No matter what happens.
It's always going to be Trump's fault.
Yeah, it's going to be Trump's fault. It's going to be the conservatives. It's going to be the Republicans. It's going to be libertarians. It's their fault. I did see an article where they finally, the FBI, I don't know how far they're taking it, but busted a group of Antifa that was trying to acquire arms and start a unrest at the border. I don't know if they was planning on going after ICE agents, Border Patrol, what their deal was, but it's like is a little bit of good news. It's like, well, damn, they at least reported that Antifa is not good.
No doubt. I mean, down at the border, we already got video and stuff of the Mexican military escorting illegals across the border, unarming our military and border agents on the U.S. soil.
Yeah. Hey,
that's pretty
Inside, can you hear me?
right there. And I know a lot of you with military backgrounds can't understand
what the hell's going on
being
with this
allowed
thing,
to happen
man?
at all.
Well, he was having problems too. It still could be on his side, Mario.
Okay.
I hear you fine.
Yeah, we can hear both.
I guess YouTube must be going through some changes. Anytime they start doing changes, I know like when I go to my creator studio now, it's a beta version. So they're going through some changes. And when they do that, it screws with the chat the most. So, and it may be something you can't even fix or undo. It's just until they get done with their changes, you may just have a problem with live chat for a few weeks. I've gone through it many times.
I know for me, I was off not doing any of the Hangout stuff for about 3 Sundays.
So anyways, guys, you guys were talking about the whole craziness in the border and all this stuff.
And when I got back and tried to start it up, I had
know that I live in California and we get to
amount of changes and additions. So, yeah.
All right, we'll have to moderate and then.
I'm trying to unmute him now. Mario, hit your
Go ahead, Mario.
unmute. I muted him. Now Mario has to unmute himself.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Gotcha.
Scott, can you hear me? Nope.
No, he can't hear you.
Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, the whole craziness that's going on over here, you guys know I live in California, and the issues that we have with illegals over here is getting ridiculous. It's getting to a point that I sometimes wonder, like, damn, man, these people are being treated better than most citizens are, you know. And here's my thing. I understand that a lot of them want a better living. The problem that I have is that, you know, when I came to the United States, man, we stood in the back of the line and work our way up, man. These motherfuckers want to get right in the middle and start demanding fucking benefits and all kinds of shit. And I'm like, fuck that. That's where I think I have the biggest issue with all this, man. I don't have a problem with people trying to, you know, get a better living, but some of this stuff is just ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not the only person that's immigrated into the United States that's pissed about it. you know, I mean, there's a process. I mean, I can't go to Italy and just walk in and start demanding damn benefits and not even have a visa or anything else. You can't do it anywhere else in the world. Why is it wrong for us to enforce our own border? I don't get why that's a problem.
Then, I mean, you got this one state that Chicago happens to be in where immigrants automatically get, you know, the Social Security, food stamps, and everything like that for their multiple spouses. Okay. I mean, that's been going on for 10, 15 years now.
And it's funny because even Red October agrees with me, and he's the one that has you know, has seen the same stuff. Look, like I tell you guys, I have nothing against people trying to make get a better living, but man, you know, when it starts affecting the people that have, you know, bought into the system and done busted their ass, you know, it's kind of hard for anybody to accept that, you know.
Yeah, I've got a big resentment right now as far as the system that I paid into since I was 14 years old, and I can't get the benefits from it now. So anything that I can go out and make, I'm going to do everything I can non-government work. You know, why be proactive about supporting a system that don't support the citizen?
Yeah, that's a pretty big slap in the face when you pay in all your life into Social Security and then you find out.
Yeah,
that
and it's
really
completely
not set
sad because
aside,
I just feel that,
doled
you
out
know,
as it comes in. That's a pain.
Okay, go ahead, Scott.
I'm back and forth trying to hear what Mario's saying. I apologize, Mario, if I'm talking over you. So anyway, I was just saying that is frustrating with Social Security, Medicare, all that stuff. And I deal with that with stuff with my mom trying to take care of her. And it's just a constant pain in the butt and fighting every year it rolls over and you got some new problem. Things get switched around, cut off. We went 3 months this year without her constant glucose monitor supplies just because of changes in Medicare.
Oh, I'm seeing a lot of that with my parents too. With their, they've, they've had insurance through their retirement, through the company they work through, and to the changes that are going on with the medical system. And every month, it is a constant fight getting their prescriptions. But those doctors out there, as soon as they're eligible for whatever test, those doctors want to bring them in and test them because they're getting supplements from the government and the medical companies they get that done.
Yeah, it's a constant. I mean, with her, I'm learning a lot, and I mean, I spent countless hours on the phone between medical supply houses that were supposed to be shipping stuff and Medicare. I'm calling them and climbing the ladder with them, and her doctor who was arguing that I shouldn't be talking to this company. I was like, well, I talked to Medicare, and this is what they told me. Well, that's not right, and I was like, well, that's what Medicare is telling me. You know, so it's just this circular thing, and we were being told they'll be shipping by the end of the week, then they wouldn't ship stuff by the end of the week. So yeah, it's a, you know, when you got somebody like her who's diabetic, doesn't sense lows, not having that constant glucose monitor is a pretty big thing for her because that's what tells her she's getting low. You know, she may or may not notice it. If she goes too low, she gets unresponsive or not able to take care of getting her blood sugar back up on her own. So, you know, I don't know who you talk to get it fixed, but I talk to everybody in the process trying to get it fixed. And it's not easy to talk to anybody in that system.
Okay, Mario. Sorry about that. I had to mute you there because y'all were talking at the same time.
Oh, no, no worries. I understand. I understand.
What you two guys have to do is just when you see him unmute, realize he's talking, and if he sees you unmute, realize he's talking.
All right, no worries. We'll figure this out, bud. Hey, by the way, guys, tell me about the ZZ Shadow 2, because everybody keeps talking about this thing. I know Danny, you got one. Who else got? Scott, you got one? TR, you got one? You have a Shadow 2?
I think Daniel's got one. I think he went to go get it.
Oh, okay, yeah, because everybody keeps like, "Oh my God, dude, you gotta get the ZZ Shadow 2."
I can't say I've shot one. I know I've held one. I've dry fired. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. I mean, it's not a cheap gun though. I mean, there's a reason it's a little expensive.
Yeah, I got you. But is it as smooth as a 1911?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Uh-oh, Danny's got one.
All right, you guys talk.
All right, Scott, you got yours out, but Mario can't hear you. The CZ Shadow 2. It's clear, it's unloaded. This is what is so great about the CZ Shadow 2. First of all, you need to make sure you have a good reloading press, because you're going to be eating a lot of ammo. Okay, now, hey, Scott, unmute yourself. Scott, unmute yourself.
Now I will talk. Yes, you will eat a lot of ammo. One of the big reasons I got into reloading was this, because I love going and shooting 200-300 rounds in a range trip with this gun. Absolutely. Smooth, like glass trigger. So smooth and so light.
It's like butter. And the only modification that you got to make to your CZ Shadow 2, Scott, hold your gun up. Show the grips. Lock grips, baby.
Lock, no doubt. Palm swells for me. I really love them because they really fill my hand.
That's what I got.
Yeah, what's wrong with the manufacturer grips?
These the lock grips, you can have motor oil in your hand and that gun is not going to slip. I mean, I like it so much. I bought another set for my PO1 Omega. Scott, trying to throw your 2 cents in?
I mean, I didn't have this probably 2 weeks before the aluminum grips came off and the lock grips went on. I was with Jason immediately trying to get these ordered, and he got them done and to me so quickly. And I've had people like my wife complains that they're too aggressive. Daniel, what you just said is they can never be too aggressive. They don't tear my hand up, but they do not move. Once I get my hand set in that, it's set. I love them. Love this gun. Love this gun.
And the one thing with lock grips that I was worried about, putting them on my concealed carry gun, that they would kind of chafe my side. But no, I've been carrying it this way. I don't know. When did I get these? About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, for my carry gun. And no, I mean, there's no chafing whatsoever. And it's just locked right there in the hand.
So yeah, it's for a gun straight from a company. And I've got a 1911 that I've built out that's got all this Wilson Combat stuff on it. It's got a ridiculous. It's a range toy. It's a 1.5 pound trigger, like a glass break. That's a sweet gun, but this gun out of the box shoots better than the other 2 guns that I built to be my accurate range guns. Easily, way better than that. The other one was that Glock G31 that basically I calculated I had about $1,300 in parts trying to get that up to a gun that felt good, shot good, and was accurate. The This was $9.99 when I found it. So straight up, it's better.
Yeah. And well, that Shadow 2 is crazy, but there's one problem with CZs. One huge problem with CZs, besides having to keep them fed with ammo, when they got them all in stock at the gun store. I mean, you got the new ones with the optics ready that's coming out. I went up there. They had the Bull Shadow 2, which is $500 more than this one. And
Really?
they had the Checkmate in, and I'm not even going to tell you the price on that.
That's
But
ridiculous.
they had the hard to get PO1 Omegas in. If you want a carry gun, a compact, this thing, the only gun that I have that can outshoot this one is the Shadow 2. And this is what I'm going to be shooting Saturday for IDPA.
That is cool. So what's the difference on the Omega?
On the Omega is the trigger system. It's actually, the Omega system is better, and the gun actually costs less than the standard CZ trigger. And it's a lot smoother, and the reset is a lot shorter.
That's interesting. It's very, very cool. Can you get the Omega trigger on a Shadow 2, or they just come with standard triggers?
No, they come with the standard. No, their standard trigger on the Shadow 2. You don't need to really mess with it. CZ and somebody else place has a upgrade for it, but for the money that you're paying out, you're not getting that much, because this trigger here, if you're not careful, you're going to be doing unintentional double taps. It's that smooth.
The difference between it and I know you mentioned a 1911 Battle Bean. I'll just call you Battle Bean. Is that there's like the length of take up and stuff will throw you off compared to a 1911. But once you get to that, because it looks like a double action trigger. Well, and most CZs are a double action, single action gun. So you got a longer take up, but that break in single action mode is really crisp and really short, just like a 1911. You may have a little more take up, but it's there. And that gun, it's not so much the trigger, it's just how it fits your hand. I mean, it's just like, it's got a really low bore axis. It just fits your hand really good. And back in the day when like I said, before the internet and I was getting into guns and all that, I mean, if it was automatic, your big gun guys, they were all 1911 fans and CZ75 fans. As far as they're concerned, that was the only two semi-automatic pistols made. You know.
Here, Mario, I'll try to show you
I guess my question would be,
so
I know that there's a lot of loyalty.
This trigger, I've tested it so many times, is somewhere between 5.5 and 6 pounds. So double action, hits that point, and then it's a break, reset on it is that. I mean, there's next to no reset, and if I let it all the way out, that's as far as it goes out. This is the take up on it right here. That's the take up, and that's the break, and it's about 3.5 pounds when it's ready to fire. So yeah, smooth's the key word. Now I've got the P07, and the P07's got the Omega trigger in it, and it was not completely smooth, but about 350 rounds into it, that became a really smooth gun too. Now, the difference is obviously a all metal gun. The weight in this gun right here recenters on target better than any gun I've ever shot. I mean, I can just start popping away at this and it comes right back on target for me. And the P07, I have to really ride it a little bit more to make that happen. This does it more naturally. And I've let several of the girl range officers where I shoot all the time and several of the men that work there shoot it. And every one of them has this, kid in the candy with his hand in the candy jar look on their eyes when they turn around. They have fallen in love with shooting this gun. So it's nice, but it is a lot of money.
I mean, I've done the same thing. Guys that had their Glocks and stuff out there, and let them shoot it. They're literally. I mean, I've got it on video where their eyes are just like, "Wow, that is just butter," and they're just so happy because I mean that thing is hitting right where they're aiming. Yeah.
Now, why is it that there's not? I mean, I know that there's a lot of followers of CZs, but it doesn't seem to have maybe the fan base like maybe other pistols do. Is it because of the price?
What was that? I was reading the comments.
Yeah, I would say price would keep people away from the Shadow 2, and because you're getting into higher end guns. Your average Joe Blow's thinking $500-600 is like a lot of money or max for a pistol. So, in my opinion, and I'm kind of one of those guys. I mean, I'll spend a little bit here and there on the gun, but for the most part, I'm pretty budget minded. And I have to agree with Greg.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up
because he is correct. As much as I have shit on Glocks, just talk bad about them over the years, I have 3 in my possession right now. One I still got to pay. I hadn't paid for yet or bartered for yet. But anyway, I have 2, Glocks, and I have shit on those things because they have shitty triggers. Glocks have shitty triggers when you're target practicing. But in a defensive situation, you would never know what kind of trigger you got because just like Greg said, in a defensive shooting, you're going to slap that trigger like a $2 whore on a Saturday night. You'll never feel that damn trigger.
and you're going to do that until you take the next step is get into shooting competition where you start getting that level of anxiety going, fighting that alarm, that buzzard, where you're going to be working to develop that muscle memory and trigger control a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying that competition shooting, how you're feeling is going to be the same way in a defensive shooting, but the more you got to have less to think about it, the better you're going to be.
I mean, a good trigger is important. But I have felt triggers on pistols that were so light that there's no way in hell you would want it for a defensive gun. There is a point that you can't really cross because just like you were saying, I think Scott Insight and maybe even Daniel, you get to a point to where that trigger is so light, you could accidentally pull it, just taking up the slack in the trigger and it go off with your adrenaline pumping and all that. You actually, for a defensive gun, you want a little bit of resistance. You want something to kind of lean against that keeps you from going, from snapping that damn trigger by accident. Because when your adrenaline's going,
Isn't there a policeman in California got in trouble a year ago? He had some trigger work done to his gun and he shot somebody he didn't mean to.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I think, well, I know when I put that, the first Glock that I bought, I got a Glock 17, a police straight in, and I put the ghost trigger disconnect thingamajig in it or whatever. It only lightened it up a pound. It went from 5.5 to 4.5. But in their little statement, the only time anybody ever got in trouble for lightening their trigger or doing a trigger job is because the guy said, I accidentally shot the gun. it accidentally went off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you intend to shoot somebody, you could have a 3/4 pound trigger. If you meant to shoot them, you're good. It doesn't matter what the trigger pull is. Now, if you accidentally shoot somebody, yeah, you're in trouble.
Especially if you're wearing a uniform.
Yeah, and just wanted to add something to that. I have seen one case where this guy, I mean, he fought it and it was really close. It came down to one juror taking the side of the gun owner. But anyways, he got into an altercation. He was a CCW holder. This guy pulled a gun, and actually he was in a supermarket. This guy was coming in, you know, like those guys that pick up the money in the armored trucks. Well, this guy went after them. So, you know, obviously this guy started shooting at the guard. So he went over there and assisted, and killed the guy. And so the DA in Los Angeles County wanted to prosecute this guy because his pistol had a modified trigger. He had a Glock and he had a pyramid one of the pyramid triggers on it, and because of that, they wanted to prosecute it. So it ended up getting to a big court debacle, and then he ended up winning by one juror. One juror just did not agree with the terms, and that's the only thing that saved him.
90% of people that own Glocks, one of the first two things they do is, one is sights and the other one is replace the trigger. And when are you going to leave California? Because that's the California and New York City mindset. Go after the guy that was in the right trying to stop a bad guy.
And it all depends on where you're at, though, because I mean, I live in Kern County, and it's not, you know, we're like 110 miles from north of LA. So I mean, the people that think a lot differently. They're more conservative. They're more, you know. I mean, we have the highest CCW out of everybody in the state. So I mean, there's a different mentality where I live. But you know, like let's say you go down to LA County, you know, they might not have the same mentality or thinking that we do over there.
Actually, the state of California, if I'm not mistaken, land mass, it is a little more conservative. Population wise, as far as the counties that are liberal, they have a enormous majority. But as far as territory, California is like over 50% conservative.
Well, that takes us full circle back to where you started the conversation with the big city problem. I mean, we see that around. I've watched that here in Middle Tennessee. I've watched Nashville go from kind of a relatively big city that was kind of split politically to, over the last 10 years especially, as it's just exploded, becoming a liberal bastion. And I kind of think that has to do with the amount of people that just get dependent on government services in big cities and the jobs. Obviously, there's a high-tech, young millennial job corps here in Nashville now. So, but, you know, I think it's kind of a natural outcome of cities becoming really, really big cities, that where you start to hit that million resident range.
I know Nashville because when I started dating Sonia, she was living in Nashville, so I was driving up there about once a month, and holy shit. I mean, I know it's not LA, I know it's not New York, but compared to Greenville, where I'm from, Nashville is fucking huge. I was showing some numbers to people, and it's like Greenville, the city of Greenville, which is nowhere near the size of Nashville because they had to keep expanding the city limits. The city of Greenville has like 70,000 people in it. Now the county's got a lot more than that. Don't get me wrong. And then the city of Nashville is like 470,000 people or somewhere around there. It's just like, if it wasn't for GPS, I'd still be up there running around in circles trying to find my way out of there.
Yeah, by the look of downtown, you would think a lot of people can't find their way back out of here. I don't know. Everybody knows I am not an NFL fan, and I hightailed it out of town when they had the draft here a couple of weeks ago. And looking at those shots of downtown with literally Broadway all the way from as far as you could see at 8th Avenue all the way to the river was just a packed house of people shoulder to shoulder. I got the heebie-jeebies, man. I would not have gone to that if I was a fan. But that's what people do. You know, they come here, the bridesmaids come here and have their parties. It's such a tourism has always been a big industry for Nashville, but now it is a multi-million-dollar industry on a weekly basis. And I can't get out of this place fast enough. I want to be in East Tennessee so bad I can taste it.
Oh, there goes the dogs again.
No goats?
Oh, not in the house. The goats are now, they've all been back down in the pen. So, yeah, I have my house back. And, oh, yeah, we're also buying this one cat that went back to the in-laws. So I can reload and not smell a litter box anymore. And that's a good thing because I grew up. Cats and I don't get, well, I'll just say cats and I do not play very nice together.
Cats are the devil.
They're soul suckers. They suck the soul out of your nostrils at night. Okay, I'm trying to keep up with all this stuff SoCal and Red's writing over there. And these two now are just being quiet.
Don't even try, man. When SoCal gets going, he gets going. But it's just interesting things that are going on in this world. You know what I wonder the most is how nasty is the 2020 elections is going to get. That's what I want to know.
It's going to be ugly. You're going to hear a lot more whining and crying from the left. TR, you were telling me something about some of these states and stuff they were going to try.
Yeah, there's states trying to keep Trump's name from being now on the ballot come 2020. And like I told Daniel, I don't know all the legal ins and outs if they can even do that. I know they do have power to a certain degree, but there again, you know, they couldn't. I don't know that they could. I don't know they can do that, period. But I definitely don't know if they couldn't keep you from writing in a candidate. And the ones that's wanting to do it would probably be a blue state anyway. But
actually, this is actually happening in my state. They're coming out with the reason why they do not want Trump to be in the ballot is because he has not turned in his taxes.
And the funny thing with that is, it's not a requirement.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like you're wanting to justify something that you really shouldn't have any business into, man. You shouldn't. I wouldn't want to know what my president spends his money on. How he spends his money and how he spends his taxes is on him, man. I mean, that's the reason why I never would want to get into public office, because that's ridiculous, man. People want to, they just want to blueprint you, and I'm like, what the hell? That's nuts, man. And but see, this is where I think they messed up, because technically, even if you don't put them in the ballot, I can still write them in.
Yeah, the only thing, like if it's a super blue state that's going to be Democrat anyway, it's not going to really make a big difference in the electoral vote, or if any difference. But I seen the map, and some of them could go either way, so that's a little bit of a problem. But we'll just have to see where it goes. I'm not. We still got a little bit of time before that election. If they actually tried to follow through with that and do follow through with that, I'm sure there would be lawsuits. And I think the 2020 runoff, and it's only going to be on the left, on the Democratic side. I'm kind of curious at how much are they going to attack each other, or how is this going to be a Trump hate fest? Who can hate Trump the worst? It's either going to be that, or they're going to try to out crazy the other one.
But I think their whole mentality of what they're going with is stupid, because they're pretty much beating up on each other, and whoever is left, Trump is just gonna kill him. I mean, it's just, yeah. And the thing about it is becoming very unpopular for the Democratic Party in their little ways that they're going about it. You're basically throwing every prominent Democratic politician at one guy because you don't like him. I just don't understand it. I think in the long run they're hurting themselves, and they have no clear leader. And in that aspect, why should you vote for them?
Well, it's like TR was saying, it's just going to who can badmouth Trump and the right the most.
Well, you know what? Trump was a master at playing that game when they lined up 10 other Republicans against him. He really is good at pitting people against each other and figuring out how to get them arguing with each other. So, throw him a bunch of Democrats. Let him have some fun with them, because he probably will figure a way to pick them apart too. And, you were mentioning those states backing out because of him not releasing his taxes. I'm more interested in seeing the taxes of the Clinton Foundation for the last 10 years. If I really, as a citizen, what I want to see that report. I want to see an all-out report of the Clinton Foundation and the money, where it came from and where it went.
Oh, like that Russian company that donated millions and millions to the foundation for radiation, the stuff, ore they're getting out of that. Yeah, uranium. Yep.
Or how about Joe Biden doing a $1.5 billion kind of a threat to the Ukraine to get rid of a president because his son was over there doing business with him. I forget all the ins and outs of that. But yeah, I mean, or Nancy Pelosi. Where did she get her tens of millions of dollars making $200,000 or $300,000 a year?
Yeah.
A really fun one to watch would be AOC, and the one who came with literally nothing to her name in 4 years. What does she have?
Well, she ain't even been in there 4 years yet.
She's good for entertainment. I'll give you that, because it's like, how dumb can you be? And y'all motherfuckers elected her. Not us, but the people in her district. Well, that was a whole mess right there, and there's some a little bit of investigations going on over Omar, AOC, and what's that, Rashada or something other like that.
Yeah,
because there's some shady funding going on with that because of that group. Was it Justice League? I think they called themselves. It was started by the Young Turks guy, whatever his name is.
Wow, she's so bad the Young Turks are going after her?
No. They're the ones that funded her.
Ah. And they want to see Trump's tax records. They better watch out what they're asking for. I think we should see all the tax register. If someone gets into office, the tax records should be open before the primaries are over so the Americans can see who they're voting for and where they're getting their money from. And after they're in office a year or two, I want to see their tax records every year. How are they getting rich? How are they becoming millionaires on a job that pays 160 or 40,000 a year to a president that gets what? Trump's not even taking a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. And losing money. His businesses aren't doing quite as well. I'm sure they're maintaining, but they've already said, he's already admitted, he's lost a lot of money because he's not in there willing and dealing and pushing his company to do better. I mean, it's so big that even if it does mediocre, he's still okay. I mean, his kids, his grandkids will never have to work in their freaking lifetime and live good. And that's fine with me. That is what America is.
And right now,
I don't care.
Trump is probably writing off all the money he's not making and losing in these companies as tax write-offs because he's now the president, which is perfectly legal.
Yeah, High Desert Pioneer. Yeah, AOC isn't old enough to run anyway. She's not going to run for president, but she probably don't know that because she don't understand the Constitution. But
is she even old enough to drink yet?
Barely.
Who cares? That lady's an idiot. Wait, she started talking about freaking veterans benefits and all this other crap. Oh, that's, man, you were touching a very point in me that I care deeply about. My thing is that many of us, there's, and I don't know Scott, sir, but I know you too, sir. We put foot to ass for our country, man. We've done what we had to do to so that we have the kind of life that we have. People have all these freedoms and shit. They just don't know how good they have it, man. I'm telling you, man. When you go overseas and you're in war, man, I'm telling you, you don't know how good you have it. You come home and you're like, man, I'm so thankful for the things that I have, because trust me, man, those people in Iraq, they didn't have much. Whatever they had, they were thankful as fuck for them.
And anybody that didn't see Chris Dyer's comment, hey, bartender, make me a margarita, thumbs up. That's hilarious.
This was a golden one. Did everybody see this one? Tyven shared this on Instagram.
But guys,
I think probably my favorite joke T-shirt for the next election. Absolutely love that one.
This chat just got so non-commercialized.
Well, that is funny, and I do appreciate it. But the thing about it is Trump was talking to some guy and joking around about it. Biden actually done it on camera. It's like, I don't know if y'all seen the skit. They had Adam Sandler on back on SNL as a guest here this last week or two, and he kind of did a little skit on a little news thing, and he even brought out he did what SNL used to do. He made fun of everybody, and I got no problem with that. If you're gonna make fun of people, make fun of every fucking body. And he made fun of Biden, he made fun of Trump, and blah blah blah. But the thing about it is Joe Biden, that's a creepy fucker.
Yeah, there have been a lot of accounts of him getting kind of creepy and sniffy and grabby and ugh. Nuh-uh. Not my kids.
But getting back to the election, I'm just kind of curious how the Democrats how they're going to play that. Are they going to attack each other, or are they just going to try to out crazy each other? or try to out-hate Trump. It could be a combination of all that. But the bottom line is their platform is going to suck, whatever they say. And every quarter, it kills their momentum because our unemployment keeps going down. The stock market is kind of, a little bit wishy-washy, but it's still like 10,000 points above where it was when Obama was in. When Trump took over, it's still 10,000 over that. It's bouncing around 25,000, 26,000. Unemployment, the lowest since 1969, I think. The lowest unemployment for Hispanics, the lowest unemployment for blacks, the lowest unemployment for women, the lowest unemployment for men. How are you going to compete with that?
51% approval rating.
Yeah. And well, I was talking to a friend of mine. They work at these temp employment agencies. They're having problems of finding people that to send out to these jobs because everybody that's looking for a job can get a job. They're no longer have to go through the temp employee agencies anymore. Can you guys hear my beagle out there barking at the deer?
That's a bark. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the problem we're having now is with the low unemployment is the employers looking for skilled trade jobs or people qualified for jobs. It's not that there are not people looking for jobs, but any kind of skilled job, there's a vacuum out there because there's not enough people to fill these jobs as these manufacturing companies are expanding, or even high-tech white-collar jobs. The market is expanding and there's not enough qualified people to fill them. That's why the unemployment says it's lowest in decades. I'm not saying the economy can't freaking crash tomorrow. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know how you're going to, they're trying their best to twist that around and say, well, it's because of this. They really kill me when they keep saying, well, it was the base plan that Obama put together. It was Obama's plan, and it's just now coming to fruition. It's like, you're so full of shit. Who's believing that?
Nobody's believing that shit. They're like, I don't know about that one, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, you remember right after the election how the stock market, Wall Street, it took a big jump. Obama can't take credit for losing for Wall Street. Well, yeah, he can take credit for losing for Wall Street taking a big jump. Mario, your screen went black. What happened there?
Now I see him.
No, I was making fun of him yawning. His mouth was so big, the screen went black.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm sorry, bro. It's just, I've been tired. I've been up since 4:30.
We're about to wrap this up. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it just, it was like, you see the memes on Facebook or whatever else. It's like, oh, Trump doesn't have anything to do with the economy. Obama, he done that. Yeah. And then something happens. It's like, oh, Trump don't have anything to do with the economy. It was, how they just constantly step on their tongue, stick their foot, slam in their mouth. I fumbled that, but y'all get what I was talking about.
That makes perfect sense.
Hey,
I was
by the
reading
way,
an
this is
article
one of the
earlier
few,
today about CNN
commander-in-chiefs
having to lay off a bunch of people because their ratings are plummeting even more than they were before. And I can't imagine why they're plummeting because every time I've been stuck in a booth at a restaurant or bar that had CNN up on the screen, was all I could do to keep from throwing up whatever I was drinking or eating, because it's the same garbage that they've been ranting ever since he was elected. And that's what you said earlier about, are the Democratic candidates gonna are they gonna try to out crazy each other? We've had a pretty good preview of it for a couple of years now. They've been out crazing each other for a good while. They've been on a good long run on that.
And I'm taking their threat pretty seriously about, the whole thing with Trump wanting to declare a national emergency about the border. And the left, Pelosi, they come out and say, well, we're going to do the same thing about gun violence. Yes. Register to vote. Go vote, people. Talk to your neighbors, because if they do get in office, and it's going to get real ugly real fast. Not that it hasn't been getting ugly already.
Yeah, if anything, and I've said this over and over, and I've had people argue with me in the past saying that voting doesn't count. In the past, a little over 2 years, if you didn't realize voting does count because Trump got in office, he was supposed to lose. He was predicted to lose. He was guaranteed to lose. He picked up 5 states, what they call it, the Iron Belt or whatever it is. He was supposed to lose every fucking one of them. And the reason he didn't lose is because people got out and voted. And that was with people. A lot of people didn't vote still because they didn't really like Trump. They didn't, totally take him in. And so they made it a little bit of a wash by not voting, or maybe they voted independent, libertarian, or whatever, and that's fine. But the next election, I personally think the people paying attention and they're woke up, it'll be even a bigger landslide than it was last time.
And then if that happens, you're going to see the left saying that the vote got rigged.
Oh yeah. Hey, didn't we had the same issue with fucking Obama? And we kind of said, all right, whatever. We just went about our business. But here's my thing. There's 3 key states that I think Trump has to win. That's Florida, Ohio, and what's that other one? Fucking Ohio, Florida, and
I'm not sure if it's Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was thinking Pennsylvania. I think Pennsylvania is definitely a key state for him. But if he wins those 3, I don't see him losing, man. Let me fucking knock on wood, because I don't want that shit. I don't want to jinx the man. But in reality, it's like, I was surprised when he won Florida, because you guys all know from the past fucking elections, Florida has been a battleground state. It's come down. I mean, you think about it when Bush won his election and how close that shit was.
Yeah, it took his brother to cast the final vote.
Yeah, no shit. Hey, fuck it. Whatever works, man. And then Ohio, I mean, that's another key state in order for you to win and win the presidency. And for him to win pretty much almost all the states, I think he won Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, and I think he even won Michigan, didn't he?
Yeah, he flipped Michigan.
And Michigan has always been blue. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe he won Michigan, and those are like states that you never think the man would win, but he won. And it was really all about, hey, look, man, you elect me, you'll have fucking money in your pockets, and that's all that matters. I don't give a shit whether you're Democrat or Republican, man. You give a shit about your livelihood. And I think that's the reason why he won.
I've got my theory about Michigan. Okay, Detroit. If you go up in Detroit and you look at, the parts of towns where it was heavy populated, now it's like it's demolished. They're grass fields now. I mean, it is getting so depopulated because people are just getting tired and sick of it, and they're moving out. So maybe Michigan is going to start, the people that live in the country in Michigan, their vote's going to mean more because the cities now are just getting so depopulated. But if that keeps on going, that's going to be happening in every city at north and they're just going to go to states that still have those programs going where they can get subsidized. So it's getting really quiet. I hear the crickets chirping. And the only question I want to ask you, Mario, are you going to move out of California at your first opportunity?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually. We're probably thinking about moving within the next 2 or 3 years. Actually, we thought about moving to Washington State. It ain't the greatest, but it's better than California. And we thought about moving over there. My oldest daughter got a job in Washington State. She works as a teacher, and the thing for me is that I could go back work. Actually, they have a Navy post close by. I might go work for the Navy. I'll piss you guys all off from fucking Army Navy week. I'll wear my Army shit just to piss you guys off.
What, Bremerton or Woodby Island?
What's the one that's closest north of Everett or
Woodby Island.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's probably I'll go work over there. I'll piss you guys all off. I wear my Army shit.
There's nothing wrong with upgrading to a better branch of the service, and
Yeah, you'll get up around all those Navy guys and find out, man, what was I thinking about all those years?
Yeah, I'm glad I don't wear that cum bucket on my head. Yeah. Don't get me started with the Navy, man. You're gonna really hate me.
Listen, I don't want to get a dirty little green creature all started up on this argument.
Especially Army Navy week, bro. Come on, man. That's the most time we talk shit. That's when it means the most, man.
Well,
but I'm not gonna lie to you. The Navy does have some nice toys, man. You guys do have some fucking badass ships, man. I go over there, I'm like, damn, that thing is nice.
Well, you can't really down the green wearing, because this is the cap I wore in the Navy.
Man, look at that.
Well, but you were a dirty little green creature.
Second class or some shit. What is that, man?
Oh no, I was just third class, E4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a CB, construction battalion. We was a Marine.
Hey, bro, I got mad love for CBs, man. They fucking built us a sea hut, and because we were out there fucking staying in these nasty ass tents in Iraq, and it was fucking hot. And the CBs came in, bro, and they built us sea huts in like fucking a week and a half with AC and everything. I said, man, I love you guys from now on, man. I'm not gonna say shit about the Navy no more.
You see, the Navy, we got these guys like TR. They go build the Army guys little tents. They got AC units and stuff in it, and they think it's the world's greatest. Well, you see, us guys in the Navy, what we do is we go play with the Air Force, and we stay in their condominiums they build. And I am not lying. They live in better than college dorms in out there in the desert.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Because I mean, the Army and the Air Force are pretty tight because we basically are the same branch. But I do have to give it to naval aviators, man. For you to land an aircraft carrier and all you got is that little fucking hook thing, and then you're trying to hook that shit up on a wire, and you still hauling ass, hoping that motherfucking thing catches. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, man. Naval aviators got my fucking boat. They're the best fucking. You trying to land on a moving ship, bro. I mean, that's fucking nuts. I mean, just thinking about it.
And all the rest of us sleep right below those planes that are trying to crash on deck.
That's awesome, though. I could sleep awesome like that. Hey, by the way, does the steam thing bother you guys? The noise after a while?
A freight train going straight over your head and slamming into a granite wall that shakes the whole aircraft carrier? Not a bit.
That's awesome. Gotta love it, man.
I think I do have to admit I've only toured a ship as in my little Navy career, toured. I'd never been on a ship because CBs wasn't on ships. I mean, we flew and landed wherever the fuck was going or whatever. But you have to admit, landing a plane that you can't get below like 140 knots or it'll just fall out of the sky onto a moving ship with a runway like this long. That's some balls.
I mean, that's some balls, bro. And now you guys have a lot of female aviators, and they're no joke either. I'm like, yeah, I have no problem with you fucking cover my 6 and shit if I ever need to call your ass. Because, yeah, I have to give it up to naval aviators, man. Them aviators are pretty damn good, man. Like, but you know, I really like these new ships the Navy's coming out, and they got all these little stealthy fucking panels on the front and shit. I'm like, damn, that shit looks pimp. And it's like the whole new different sonar system they got on them things. I was like, hell yeah, that's pimp, man. That's what I'm talking about. And I never seen a submarine up close. That's the only thing I haven't seen. And I heard that there's some submarines that they have in Washington, so I'm definitely going to check that out. And I've been near a submarine. Those things look cool, though.
Scott's just listening.
Okay, I'm just trying not to jump on it. And Mario, I'm listening. I'm back and forth with the delay so I can hear what he's saying and stuff. And I was fortunate enough to get to tour the aircraft carrier, the Theodore Roosevelt, when my ex-brother-in-law was on there. That was pretty damn cool. And of course, getting to see a nuclear sub is damn near impossible. That's just not going to happen unless
you got to have the security clearance to go get on a sub.
Yeah. So that would have been what I really would have enjoyed doing. I don't think.
Oh, I got security clearance. I don't have a top secret.
Seeing the Theodore Roosevelt,
I just want to get near the motherfucker and say, "Hey, what's up?"
He was one of the supply captains on that one, and that was kind of cool opportunity.
Oh. So TRU is about to say something earlier.
I forget.
This has been interesting. I mean, two guys can't hear each other and just.
Yeah, I didn't know. I will admit this. I didn't know that CBs actually work with the Army as well.
They do. They even built us a. They built us a freaking what do you call it? Runway. Okay. They built the runway for us.
Well, when I was in Desert Storm, that was one of the things we did. We built. We poured concrete helicopter pads. We built fleet hospitals. We built Marine bases. We gave them running water, showers. And like you was talking about, I mean, once we went in there and we'd done our shit, they were like, oh, that is awesome. You know, you're in the desert getting flea bitten and flies running all over your face and all that shit. And we give you a shower. That's a big deal.
That's a huge fucking deal, man. That's a morale booster right there, man. Yeah, and I love the CBs because them motherfuckers like to fight. And the CBs were like, we built a range, right? And we thought that shit was cool. And we built a range. Like, we're a bunch of dumb fucking infantrymen. But we can build a range. And then when they went over there and we told them, hey, we got a range, you guys want to go shoot? And we showed them how much ammo they got. You should have seen their eyes light up. They're like, ooh, you guys have that much ammo? I was like, hell yeah, bro. Come here. I got you, homie. Shit, you built us some stuff, now you get to shoot. And they love shooting, man. So yeah, I had a good time with the CBs. We were with the 7th, I don't know what they call it, 7th CBs or whatever. They're from Point Hueneme. And I made good friends. I even got a coin from one of their chiefs and shit. He was like, man, you sure you want to join the Navy, man? I'll adopt you. I was like, I'm cool, man. I got you. But yeah, the Navy guys are cool. I really enjoyed working with them, and it is amazing how much stuff those guys bring, man. They got their own freaking Home Depot, bro. They bring everything.
Swamp Rat's given up his age there because he said at one time he was on every ship the U.S. had. Well, back then, what did we have? 4 or 5. It was the Constitution, the wooden ones, old Ironsides.
That's fucked up, man. You know that's a fucking. The Constitution's like one of the first fucking.
Exactly.
Damn.
I will have to admit, we did have a lot of supplies when I was over there. We built picnic benches, lounge chairs. I mean, it might have been 2 before we built a lounge chair out of, but it was full, lay down.
I was amazed. These guys come in, dude. They come in with everything, man. It's like fucking Home Depot, man. You're like, damn, I can have all this, and I'm telling you, and they don't have a little bit. They have a shitload of it. I mean, they bring like crates and crates of shit, and then they bring wood. They bring a lot of wood. They bring fucking big old crates of wood, and yeah, they don't fuck around, man. And they're called CBs for a reason, man, because it's like they're kind of like the Mexican version of the fucking Home Depot world. It's like fucking 25 motherfuckers all together, and it's like they all know what the fuck they're doing, and then they're all like building shit, and I'm like, damn, y'all some bad motherfuckers, man. Y'all make Mexicans put to shame. Shit.
You're profiling, man. You're profiling. See now with the CBs, the Navy used them for years. The Marines have abused them for years because that's who they mostly do all the work for is the Marines.
Oh.
And now the Army found out about them. And one branch that's never used are CBs, and that's the Air Force. Because they contract all that stuff out. And I mean, before they even buy an airplane or put a runway or hangar, they're building the barracks and putting in the swimming pool and the E Club and the O Club.
No, but the thing I really enjoyed about the CBs is they like TR was saying, these guys get bored and they'll build you a fucking whole deck system with fucking all kinds of benches and chairs and shit, and we're all just fucking hanging out. To us it was like, hey, it's one team, one fight. But yeah, they are amazing in how they do things, and they're amazing how their engineers are, because they have like these. I don't know. Do you guys have like these architects, TR? What do you call these motherfuckers? Because they're like little architects, and they have these little drawings and shit, and they come up with everything. They already have that shit laid out. The guys come in, and then they're
well, the CB motto was can do. So it's like, okay, here's what we got. We got to do XYZ, build a bridge, build whatever the fuck it is. And they get together and it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Well, we don't have that. We don't have this. All right, we'll take that and we'll use that instead. I mean, it's like they taught you the attitude. It don't matter what you have to work with. This is what we got to do. So you make that shit happen. However the fuck you got to do it.
Yeah. No, but these guys are like I tell you, I was very impressed with the CBs, and actually they were with us for maybe a couple months. They were there like maybe 4 or 5 months, and then they were tasked to do something else. But actually, when I was with this unit that I was telling you about, the ones that requested you guys was the Army Special Forces. It wasn't the regular Army. It was the Special Forces that was requested you guys. I was attached to this fucking unit, and that's how we found out about you guys, because I didn't know what a CB was. Neither there was people in the Navy, but I didn't know there was construction workers, construction people, and with background and stuff like that. I was like, wow, that's crazy, because we have some in the Army, but we don't have that many. We have what we call construction engineers, but they don't do what the CB does. You know, I think the most that they do is maybe do runways and stuff like that, but they don't build you fucking sea huts and shit. They don't build you runways, you know. But the CVs do. They can do anything. Motherfuckers are like Bob the Builder and shit.
Yeah, two parts of the Navy you don't piss off. One's the Seabees and the other one's the SEALs.
Oh yeah, well nobody's
Don't
gonna fuck with the SEAls.
you'll
No,
cut your throat.
no, nobody's gonna fuck with the SEAls, man. Yeah, I leave the SEAls the fuck alone. Actually, you guys know that there's a beach, the beach where they do butts training. You know that's open to military personnel, right?
Seal Beach, Coronado.
Yeah, so you can go in there. You just have to go to the far right of the beach, and it's just a private beach for the Navy, for military personnel. So as long as you have a military ID, just go up to the far right, and there's a big old fucking gate you go through, and you go in there, and they tell you just stay on the far right, and they have fucking shore police there patrolling, and they have all kinds of shit. So you see everybody all crowded up on the other side over there, and you over there by the private beach, and on the left side you see the SEALs fucking doing their thing. You're like, damn, they work hard. You're like, fuck that. I'm enjoying my time here in the beach. But yeah, and it's a really nice beach too. It's really low, and you know, the tide doesn't really get you as much as on the other side. It's not a big break right there. So yeah, it's actually interesting. I you know, somebody told me, and I figured, you know what, let me go try it. What they're gonna tell me no. So I went in there, and some shore police guy told me, yeah, just go up to the far right and just stay right there. And if the SEALs come by, just let them pass by. They don't bother you. And like, cool. It was cool. I had a good time.
All right, we're getting close. Any other big subjects we need to talk about before we sign off?
I'm just trying to figure out how to word this. Okay. If I do videos just to enjoy myself and have fun, and anybody out there that might be asking themselves why I'm still doing videos, just keep on doing them, because if someone don't like it, they can eat a bowl of Vienna sausage.
Yeah, I watched Pop's Quest. Not trying to call him out or anything. And I know where he's coming from on his videos, but he's talking about being controversial. And I got that one video that I did, and I was just bullshitting around. I wasn't even being serious. Maybe it come off different. I don't know. It went viral for some reason. And I got like I guarantee you there's over 5,000 negative comments on it. 5,000 comments that are negative.
Anytime you piss off that many people, most of them are snowflakes. That's
Okay,
a badge of honor.
What did you say? That's what I want to know.
It was I did a video like down in Antifa.
Oh, like Rich?
Yes, you know, I mean, I was just bullshitting around. I was shooting a gun, and I've had so many comments. I mean, it's getting close to 400,000 views now. 5,000, 6,000 comments. Most of them are negative. I mean, I hadn't even read them all, because when you get to 5,000 comments, you can't read all that shit. That's what they're reading a fucking encyclopedia or something. And so obviously I hadn't responded to all those comments. I just keep seeing it pop up every once in a while, and I'm like questioning myself. People are still watching that video? What the fuck?
Do you ever get to the point where you just want to just go ahead and make that private so you don't even have to deal with it anymore?
Well, the only reason I haven't is because I am a monetized site, and I don't care if people click on the ads or not. I'm not in this to make money. and I will never make as much money to cover the cameras and shit that I bought to make YouTube videos. But if you get a little bit back, I know you're not supposed to talk about it, but at best, I make $100 every 3, 4, 5 months at best.
Damn, pimping.
Do what?
Pimping, man. That's $100.
Well, yeah, and that's nice. It's, because I bought GoPro cameras and different cameras and tripods and stuff like that to make videos. I still hadn't made as much as I spent, but it's nice to at least get a little bit back of putting effort in. I mean, I've been on YouTube since 2010 or some shit like that. Anyway, but that video, they demonetized it. I protested the demonetization, and they actually gave it back to me. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'll just leave it up there.
Yeah, between that, the entertainment in that one, and the educational value and the shrapnel removal, those were two golden ones
cool,
right
man.
there. Those have to be big hitters right there.
Surprisingly, the shooting myself and then removing the bullet wasn't as big as I thought it would be.
Oh.
But it was decent size. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's thousands of views, which is pretty cool.
Who was it? Dirt Road that had the one with doing their toenail?
Toenail. He's had two with his toenail, ingrown toenail removal.
Those go viral, and here it is. You're taking a bullet out of your arm at work, and that did go viral. Come on, people.
Yeah, really. Seriously. I know it was a long video, but that shit was real. That was no fake. That wasn't a setup. That was real. It's like, hey, Brian, see, there's a scar still. I was like, there's something in there. And he's digging. I think it's the whole fucking bullet. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I think Dirt Road did his ingrown toenail removal in slow motion the last time he did it. I think with his super slow motion S9 camera.
Somebody ripped him off on that one too, didn't they? Because I know they ripped him off the first one.
Oh, that's gnarly. God, it's gnarly.
Yeah, I think when you get that many people going negative on you, you hit a nerve, and that's a badge of honor. So if they don't like it, screw them.
Yeah, man. I don't know that.
Well, I know eventually YouTube's kind of going to fade away, or maybe it won't. I don't know. Or maybe they'll eventually kick me off. I don't know. But until then, I swear to you, I'm honest with all my fucking videos. If I do a
Keep
video,
making those anti-Antifa videos, brother.
What's that?
So you keep making those anti-Antifa
Yeah.
videos.
Well, see, now that Obama's not a president, Antifa's like, they're not really a thing anymore.
I know Rich. I remember when Rich started that whole thing. Hey, comrade.
Rich has a perfect attitude for YouTube. It's like, I don't give a damn if y'all watch this or not. I'm just going to make a video because I think it's funny. And that is the right attitude to have.
No.
You can make it informative, educational, or funny.
My favorite thing is that when he starts up the video, he goes, here's a stupid video. I'm like, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it now. That fucking guy. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
I watch his chats when he does that fucking Jeopardy. Man, I laugh my ass off all the time because those things are fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I actually enjoy doing those when I get to be on there.
Yeah, those things are fucking hilarious, man.
Because they're kind of like real questions, and they're like, who the fuck would know that? Didn't you hear Dan?
I don't think he screens his fucking questions and shit, you know? He just puts some random shit in there and goes with it.
Yeah, I think Rich really grasped the because there's so many people on YouTube now. You really had to have a sense of humor and just roll with it and do some random bullshit. Not trying to be big, not trying to make money. Just throw something out there to be entertainment.
Hey, man, Jack Turbation, remember that motherfucker?
Who's that?
Jack. He did the Jack Turbation fucking videos and shit.
Yeah.
The guy that started Fart back in the day. That motherfucker, I miss him, dude. And his videos are fucking hilarious. I used to die laughing watching those videos, man. And I can't believe he's off YouTube now. Because I would still love to watch just to watch his videos because, man, they're just fucking hilarious. You never seen a drunk be that fucking funny.
Let me take a slip.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about? All right. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. I started pretty close to on time, so we were right at the 2 hours, maybe 5 minutes off. And I'll let everybody do an outro, and I will start with Daniel. Would you like to do an outro, my friend?
Thanks for inviting me, folks that are left in the side chat. Nice trying to read what you're going there and keep up with the conversation all the time. And bye.
Insight Freedom, would you like to do a outro?
Yeah. Been fun trying to keep up with this on 2 different screens. Mario, I apologize if I missed some gold. Kept having to mute you while you were talking so I could get back over here. Thanks for the invite. Technical difficulties didn't slow down a pretty good conversation. One thing, you don't even check out my video. Go straight to Bearded CB, since we talked a lot about you CBs today. Go to his latest video on the TCS 2000. He and TAC have put together a push for getting the Crazy Scotsman up to 2K, and I think it's a worthy cause. And I think both you or all of you guys know how much Jason does around here for everybody and everything that needs to be done, pretty much getting it done. So I've got a video up about it, but you can skip mine and go straight to Bearded CBs for sure. And thanks, Side Chat. I could hardly keep up with that and everything else at the same time, but I saw some pretty golden comments tonight.
Well, thanks for being on, man. Maybe next time the YouTube settle out and we can get to all this audio crap straightened out. Like I said, it's not your channel's fault. It's just YouTube, when they do changes, it screws everything up. Battle Bean, what's up?
Hi, what's going on, everybody? Hey, man, thanks a lot, TR. Appreciate the invite, man. Daniel, Scott, it's always a pleasure. Everybody in the side chat, thank you guys for commenting. I really appreciate everybody's friendship. And yeah, I appreciate the time, guys. It's always awesome to spend time with like-minded people, and it's always a pleasure to chat with TR and all you crazy guys out there. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the week, and that's all I got.
Thanks for being on. All you guys. And until, like I said, it'll be 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we'll do this again. I may start doing it every week again. I don't know. But right now, 2 weeks, every 2 weeks works out for me pretty good. And until then, thanks for stopping by and thanks for joining in. And we appreciate it. Later, everybody.